Hi guys, and welcome back to Maltbox, the non-chill filtered whiskey blog. I'm Andy, and this is the second part in my three-part mini-series, possibly more, of my favourite and go-to independent bottlers. Now, last time I looked at Whiskey Broker and North Star Spirits, and the two that I have today are equally as good as those two as well. Now, I want to apologise first of all for not posting this a little bit sooner. Things have been a bit manic. I'm finishing my existing job, so I'm basically trying to get all that sorted. And I've also been putting some stuff on the website as well. If you've not checked that out already, maltboxwhiskey.com. So I'm sort of splitting reviews between here and the website as well. The website's probably going to be things that I've not got around to previously that might not be quite as relevant, I guess you could say. To me, all whiskey is relevant. Just because it's not been around for a couple of years, doesn't really matter, doesn't make it any less tasty. So anyway, the first bottler that I want to talk to you about today is one that I've actually only got two of on the shelves at the minute, but I've got some under the stairs as well. And that is Signatory. Now, Signatory are very, very good indeed. I've got another one here for you. So the two that I've actually picked out, I suppose I'll go over the ranges as well. I mean, what we've got here is their grain selection. So this is a 2003, 2006, can't read, Port Dundas. And Port Dundas is actually a closed grain distillery. It is no longer, it is gone, finito. So considering this retail for about 35 quid, closed distillery, I mean, there's only so much of it, isn't there? If I'm honest though, I'm not really getting on with that one at the minute. I think it needs a bit of time to open up. We'll see how it goes. This is their sort of standard core range, you could say. So just the Signatory vintage range. They also do a cask strength range as well, single cask, or maybe vatting a couple of casks. And there's also Signatory unchill filtered collection as well, which I have a few of, again, under the stairs. Now, I've already professed my adoration for a space cider just outside of Keith called Strathmill. And here is a Strathmill from Signatory. Pretty pale, because this was actually taken from hogsheads, two casks, 805458 and 805459, so sister casks there. This is bottled 553, distilled September 2007, bottled July 19, so it's just shy of 12 years, so it's 11 years old. And there you go. Now, this is actually my second bottle of this, and this retailed for under 40 quid again, and I just loved it. It was, to me, it was everything that Strathmill should be. It was like lovely, grassy, thick, oily. You got some honey in there, some toast, some butteriness, really delicious. Now, this particular range, the standard Signatory vintage range, bottled at 43%. I believe it's natural colour. As to chill filtration, I think it's chill filtered, to be honest with you. That's why they've got the unchill filtered range sort of above that, which is a little bit pricier, but not by much. We're still talking many bottles of famous distilleries such as Malt, Clynelish, retailing for under 50 quid, which isn't bad at all. They also have a connection with Edradour Distillery, so the owners of Edradour own Signatory. It's a bit like Cadenhead and J&A Mitchell with Cadenhead and Springbank and Glengyle. And that is another bottler that I will be looking at in another review, because Cadenhead are one of the all-time greats. So, Signatory, belted stuff, very good indeed. Now, the next one that I have here is one, it's basically a bottler that I've probably bought more from in the last 18 months, 2 years, than any other independent bottler, because I've found they're consistently good, they're consistently well priced, and they are consistently consistent. I've not had a bad one yet. And that bottler is Carn Mor from Morrison, Mackay. Now, I've got a few here, and the reason I want to show you is because they're a bit of a differing, you might see different versions of it. Now, this is the most up-to-date branding. Really charming, very colourful, lovely bespoke bottle with their name on the bottom, and they've got a lovely coin insert into the cork as well. Who doesn't love an insert in a cork? Cork insert, if you will. Now, So before we get cracking, I'm actually going to pour one. I'm going to pour this one. I've deserved a dram today, to be honest. Right, so Carn Mor, this is their strictly limited range. This is, again, what you would define as their core range. This is the one with the most releases. It's very well priced. Here we have a 2007 Manic Moor. Now again, a bit like the Strathmill, Manic Moor is a space cider purely used for blends normally. It is, but it's quite high quality malt, which is why it's very, very popular with blenders, a bit like Strathmill. Now, this particular range from Carn Mor, okay, they're all bottled at the same strength. It's not 43, it's not 40, it's not 46, it's 47 and a half. And I really like that. I do. I'm sure there's a reason behind it. I've not looked into that, I'll be honest. But for me, it gives you that consistency in terms of strength across everything. Everything. And that extra 1.5% on the 46 is pretty noticeable at times. And you know how noticeable 46 is over a 40. I just like they've gone that sort of extra 1.5%. It's like the Spinal Tap turning it up to 11, isn't it? So you might see, as I said before, a couple of different versions. They are the same range, however. So strictly limited, this is the new branding. This is the slightly older branding that they had for a few years. All right, so we've gone from a 2007 Manic Moor. This is a 7-year-old Corleala, bottled in 2020, 3 casks, 7-year-old from Sherrybull. So there's the other branding there. You will still find bottles in that livery knocking about. And here's the even older livery, the OG livery. And this is a wine cask matured Tianinic, wine cask finished Tianinic from 2019. So in 2 years, it's 2021 now. And this was bottled, I think, mid-2019. We've had 2 rebrands. You can sort of see the correlation to there, you know, that to that. And then that goes on to that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think that's probably my favourite. I quite like that one, to be fair. So this Manic Moor, let's see what it's got. This isn't going to be a proper review. I'm just gonna sip it a little bit and see how we go. Oh my gosh, yeah, so well balanced. So this is from PX Hogsheads, 13 years old, just over 1,500 bottles, 1,551 bottled in 2020, non-chill filtered, natural colour, the same across all of their range. This set me back about £42, I think, £42.50. Hello, cat. Lovely, lovely sherry influence on the nose. It's still a little bit tart, still a little bit spicy, very, very sweet. We've got figs, we've got coffee, we've got milky chocolate. We've got a bit of honey in there as well. This is Luna, in case you've not met her. Lovely palate, great mouthfeel, in part thanks to that non-chill filtration. Again, carrying on from the nose. It's a sherried whiskey. I wouldn't describe it as a sherry bomb. It's still very, very well balanced. It still has a lot of core distillery character. A lovely kind of like grilled fig note. Got dates. Got a little bit of the Christmas cake traditional flavours that you see with some sherried whiskies. And just a really nice, long, warming finish as well. Now, there is another couple of bits of the Carn Mor range now. They do a blended malt whiskey called Old Perth, which is very, very good indeed. I do have a bottle of that recently added to the collection, which I'm very excited about. That was courtesy of my colleagues at work as I'm leaving my job. So that was my going away present, so I'm looking forward to trying that. And they have what would be probably defined as their older whiskey range, their more prestige. And I do that because age doesn't necessarily mean quality, but their older bottling, so like the 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, etc., is known as Carn Mor Celebration of the Cask. Now, I use those ages as an example. There are whiskies in that range that are slightly less, sort of 15-year-old, 16-year-old. I think that kind of depends on the distillery they come from as well, as to how limited the access is to that. Now this It's probably one of my favourite, well, it is my favourite Carn Mor bottle, to be honest, because this is a 1988 Bunnahabhain from the celebration of the cask range. Again, the livery has changed now to match that, but a bit more colourful. So 1988 Bunnahabhain, bottled in 2018. Now, this does mean quite a lot to me anyway, not only because it's in 1988 Bunnahabhain, which is pretty cool, but it's actually my birth year whiskey that I was gifted for my 30th birthday a couple of years ago by my in-laws. And I've got to say, I mean, I'd like to highlight something, if you can see it. 1988, so it was in the cask for, I think it was just shy of 30 years, because it was bottled, yeah, so it was bottled on the 1st of March 18 and distilled in November 88. So yeah, if 8 months later, so it's basically 29-year-old whiskey, but who's counting, right? But consider it's been in the cask for 29 years. Look at the strength. Hopefully you guys can see that. 59.9%. 59.9%. That's madness after 29 years in the cask. Amazing stuff. Only 146 bottles, and I've got bottle 105. I can't tell you how much this costs because it was a present. Needless to say, it's way, way above my usual whiskey budget. So guys, there we are. So we've had Carn Mor and we've had Signatory. I'll be honest, I bought more Carn Mors than Signatory, but I have had a lot of Signatory historically. It's typical really, because I just finished another Manic Moor from Signatory before I started this review a couple of days ago, which was similar to the Strathmill, 43%, non-chill filtered, hogshead matured, so it's quite pale, but very, very tasty. So again, guys, if you've not yet started to explore your options with independent bottlers, just give it a shot. Do it. They're quite affordable compared to distillery bottlings. We've already seen a couple of distilleries that you wouldn't ordinarily find in the market. We've had Manic Moor, we've had Dundas, and we've had Strathmill as well. And I mean, as this series goes on, you will see a couple of more names as well that you won't find in the mainstream, which I think is pretty cool. And that's really getting my geek on. So guys, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to box it off now. Again, just a quick reminder, I'm on the website now as well at maltboxwhiskey.com. Feel free to subscribe if you want. Don't worry about it. If not, I'm chill. I'm on Twitter at Maltbox. I'm on Instagram at maltboxwhiskey. Thanks for watching. See you soon.